When we were making out, I accidentally scratched the tattoo on my boyfriend's back, and he suddenly got furious. I felt very aggrieved and talked about this matter in an emotional live broadcast room at night. Everyone stood up for me and suspected that my boyfriend had changed his mind. Only the host asked seriously, "Is the tattoo on your boyfriend's back a bottle?" When I heard the host ask this, I was stunned. "How do you know?" "My boyfriend Ethan's back is indeed a bottle, a very delicate narrow-mouthed round bottle with orchid patterns all over the body, which looks lifelike. When I first met him, I also found it strange. Who would just tattoo a bottle on their body?" But Ethan explained that in their hometown this is equivalent to tattooing a Buddha statue of Guanyin, which means blessing for peace. Very few people have seen the tattoo on his back. How did the anchor know about it? This is just a live broadcast room I randomly came across. The anchor is called Mia, a young girl. Before I came in, she was talking about emotional issues in the live broadcast room. She has a world-weary face, sharp words, and has attracted many fans. At this moment, he frowned and took out a few copper coins from the drawer and fiddled with them on the table. The comments were just as confused as I was. Isn't this an emotional anchor? Why is he telling fortunes? It looks pretty good. Could it really be true? Is there really something wrong with this young lady's boyfriend? Oh my God. Don't scare me in the middle of the night. Mia glanced at the comments and said calmly, "As for the ghost story, it exists whether you believe it or not. Sister, there is indeed something wrong with your boyfriend. Your house is near the sea, so there should be water." I nodded quickly. "That's right." Mia asked again, "Does your boyfriend take a shower every day?" "No matter what the situation is, he has to wipe his body even if he can't take a shower." I was completely stunned and nodded again. At this time, there were already 2,000 people in the live broadcast room. Some people couldn't stand it anymore and made angry comments. "This anchor is sick, doing these messed up things to scare people. Is it possible to sleep late at night?" Some people also refuted. Although the host is right. The host really has the temperament of a hermit. The host has said before that she is a Taoist disciple, so it should not be a lie. The irritable brother couldn't help but say, "Do you have brains? Do you believe this?" This girl has posted so many videos on her homepage, many of which are of her neighborhood, and it's obvious that they re at the beach. Besides, what's so special about taking a bath every day? I take a bath every day. Most people were convinced. Seeing Mia so calm and composed, I was confused. Taking a bath every day is normal, but Ethan is taking it to a pathological level. One winter we went hiking and got lost. We didn't get down until after 11 p.m. I was thinking about calling for help, but Ethan kept neurotically muttering that it was too late. Then, in the sub-zero temperature, he took off his shirt and poured the only half bottle of mineral water we had left on him. I was completely stunned at the time, not knowing when I could be rescued. He actually used up all the water, not caring about my life or death. Fortunately, we later met a local who took us out. Ethan explained to me that he had obsessive-compulsive disorder and felt uncomfortable if he didn't touch water for a day. I was angry for a long time at that time, but he coaxed me for several days in a row, so I stopped holding on to it. Mia even knew this. She was not talking nonsense. I swallowed and asked nervously, "My boyfriend, what's the problem?" Mia raised her eyelids lazily and said, "He has a bottle, girl. He uses his body to nourish a soul. The bottle is the container, and his own flesh and blood is the carrier. He cannot live without water. This soul being nourished is called the bottle girl." After Mia finished speaking, the live broadcast room became more lively. Is the anchor really not making this up? Mom, I'm so scared. It's only 5 minutes until 12 o'clock. I'm so scared that I can't sleep at all. Anchor, this is too much. It was just a small conflict between lovers. What if they break up after what you said? That's right, it's really uncultured. I also had some doubts. If she said Ethan was mentally ill, I would probably take him to the doctor tomorrow morning. But isn't this bottle female soul-raising thing something that only appears in novels? It's not very credible. Mia also noticed my hesitation. She ignored the criticism from netizens and asked calmly, "How many years have you been with your boyfriend?" I was stunned. 4 years? In the past 4 years, have you never noticed that your boyfriend has a habit of talking to himself? No. Other netizens in the live broadcast room laughed at him. Ha ha ha. The anchor must have made a mistake. I guess so many things, it's normal that I didn't guess it right this time. Just go to bed and stop scaring people. Mia frowned slightly and soon realized. That must be because you go to bed too early. You go to bed before midnight every day. She was right again. I sleep on time and I will definitely go to bed before midnight. But I looked at the time and it was already 11:58. I accidentally scratched Ethan's back and he was very angry. He insisted on taking a shower. Because I was worried, I found some cotton swabs and iodine and prepared to apply the medicine to him after he came out. But he hasn't come out yet. Mia said, "You can go and have a look now. Don't do anything rash if you hear anything. Put your phone on silent mode. I have a knot in my heart and if I don't resolve it I may not be able to sleep anymore." After listening to Mia, I hesitated for only a few seconds before silencing my phone and holding it in my hand. There are more people in the live broadcast room. Mom, I'm scared. The first-person perspective is really scary. I'm holding my breath. I am now very worried about my sister's mental state. Is she really okay? With cold sweat on my back, I tiptoed to the bathroom. I slowly put my ear to the door and heard only the sound of water dripping. I couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. It seemed that he really hadn't finished his shower yet. For a moment I felt ridiculous. How could I believe the words of a strange anchor? Just as I was about to leave, the sound of water suddenly stopped. I froze and put my ear close to it again. This time I heard intermittent voices. Does it hurt? I'm sorry. Wait a little longer. I believe you. It was Ethan's voice alone, but it didn't sound like he was talking to himself. I held my breath and could see goosebumps forming on my arms. It was very quiet around me, and the sound of my heartbeat was even louder than the sound in the bathroom. In order to hear it more clearly, at one point I changed my posture and prepared to put my ears closer. The door was opened without warning. I screamed and fell into the bathroom where Ethan caught me. He was shirtless and looked down at me with a slight smile on his face. Can't wait? I was flustered, my heart was beating very fast and I asked tentatively. I went to the living room to drink some water and I heard voices coming from inside. Who are you talking to? Ethan remained calm, not showing any abnormality. I just received a call. My sister is in the hospital with appendicitis. She was crying to me. You know her. She has a princess temper and can't stand the slightest pain. My ears are almost covered with calluses. So that's how it is. I breathed a sigh of relief silently. This coincidence was too scary. The phone screen was still on the live broadcast room. I took a look and saw Mia pointing to her ear. I came to my senses and told Ethan to go get some milk. Ethan responded without even turning his head. I turned around, put on my headphones and ran to the living room. Mia says, "Your boyfriend is talking to the Aquarius girl." I was stunned for a moment and typed, "Didn't you hear it? My boyfriend is talking to his sister on the phone. There must be some voices." Mia frowned slightly, and what she said made me feel cold in my heart. "Didn't you notice that your boyfriend's cell phone is on the coffee table?" I was stiff all over. Turning around, Ethan's phone was placed next to the coffee table. The comments went crazy. Oh shit. Oh shit. This is a bit scary. Don't do this in the middle of the night. It's midnight now, let's change the topic, can't we talk about relationship problems? Oh, I'm scared. Damn it, I'm still holding my pee, can I go to the toilet now? Are you guys okay? Who doesn't have two cell phones these days? Sister, does your boyfriend only have one? When I saw this, I remembered that Ethan had just changed his phone and the old one was still there. Just then, Ethan came over with the old phone and threw it on the dining table. The comments were quiet for a moment, and then they started to complain crazily. Fuck. I said it was a coincidence. The anchor is sick, it's scary in the middle of the night. Spreading superstition, report it. Ethan poured a glass of water and looked up at me. What are you looking at? Just watching some videos. I was confused and seemed to be in a bad mood. Ethan seemed to notice something. He came over and kissed my face and whispered in my ear. Are you angry? Mia lowered her voice. Touch his back where the tattooed bottle mouth is and you can feel two bumps. Those are the bottle girl's eyes. My whole body froze. Ethan held my hand and looked down at me. Why are your hands so cold? I'll go get you some hot water. Etc. I held him back and forced a smile. Don't I always have cold hands and feet? Don't leave, I said, and I hugged him stiffly from the front. Ethan kissed my neck and my hands groped on his back. Suddenly I felt something strange. 2 or 3 centimeters away from his spine, There were really two symmetrical bulges. I couldn't believe it, so I touched them carefully. The two bulges suddenly moved, and the touch felt like eyeballs moving under my eyelids. I was so scared that I pushed Ethan away. My face turned pale, and my hands and feet were out of control for a moment. Ethan was stunned for a moment, then took my hand and walked towards the bedroom. I know I was a little mean to you just now, don't be angry, I just had some troubles at work, I won't do it again in the future. He pulled me to the bed and I quickly put the screen of my phone on the bed. Ethan reached out to untie my clothes and I pushed him away and made up an excuse. I'm not angry. I just want to sleep. Go to sleep, sweetheart. Ethan kissed me as usual and then lay down with his back to me. I slowly picked up the phone and typed with trembling hands, "There are really two bulges." Someone posted several comments in the barrage, haha. Sister, you don't understand the human body structure. When you hug, there will be two bulges on your back. Those are the shoulder blades. The anchor is really good at fooling people, did you really believe it? So, I have bumps too, so I have eyes on my back too? Funny. But having a bulge is one thing and having movement underneath the bulge is another. I glanced at Ethan and was about to turn over when my eyes suddenly widened. Where is the wound on his back that I scratched? How come it's gone? My whole body was stiff, I dared not even breathe. I remember clearly that I scratched it and used tissue to stop the bleeding. Tissue. I slowly reached out and hooked the trash can not far from the bed, picked up the top tissue and saw some residual blood on it. I remember correctly. So, Ethan's wounds did heal quickly. This is not normal. Master, save me. I slowly picked up my phone and pointed the camera at my boyfriend's back. The wound I scratched is gone. At this moment, the live broadcast room was dead silent. So what the anchor said is true? Are you really not acting together? I'm really scared. I got goosebumps all over my body. Do Aquarius women really exist? What exactly are they? Mia said in a deep voice. When most people die, their souls disappear, but there are always people in the world who are unwilling to accept this and are reluctant to let go. Therefore there is a method passed down in ancient villages. The soul of the dead person is sealed in the body's flesh and blood, and then a person of the same sex born on the same day of the same month of the same year is found to nourish it with essence. After a certain period of time, the bottle girl will plunder the body of the person who provided the essence and resurrect in another form. She looked up at me. If I'm not mistaken, does your boyfriend attach great importance to your birthday? I was struck by lightning. My heart felt like it was being squeezed tightly and I couldn't breathe. I couldn't help but think of the first time I met Ethan. At that time, I had just graduated and was doing an internship. The department organized a social gathering, and Ethan was the director of another department. He was young, handsome, gentle and funny, and attracted the attention of many girls at that time. Among them was me, but I was rustic at that time and was ordinary among a group of girls. He never noticed me from beginning to end. During the dinner, Ethan suggested playing a game. Everyone wrote their date of birth on a piece of paper, and everyone randomly drew a number. Whoever drew the number would have to prepare a gift for her on her birthday. He picked me. I will always remember the look he gave me at that time, one of surprise and anticipation. On my birthday, he took me to the riverside to watch the fireworks. Under the colorful lights, he gently put clothes on me and said, "The luckiest thing in my life is meeting you." Later he began to pursue me vigorously. I have never been in a relationship before, so how could I have seen such a situation? After we got together, he was considerate in every way, handed over his salary and never lost his temper with me. Every year on my birthday he would take time off to take me out to eat delicious food and pick out the most beautiful flowers. Even in bed he would be extra gentle on this day. I often wonder how I could have met such a perfect person. So today, after I scratched him, he got so angry that I was at a loss. Now I look back with doubt and there is something wrong with it. His eyes are clearly looking through me and seeing others. I couldn't help but look back at the tattoo bottle. Suddenly I discovered that there seemed to be many more patterns on the bottle than before. In the dim room, those patterns crisscrossed each other, as if they had suddenly come to life. I held my breath and moved to the outside of the bed. You said you've been with him for 4 years. The nurturing period of an Aquarius woman is basically 3 to 4 years. You could be taken away by her at any minute. You need to calm down and listen to me. Leave this room now. Ethan's breathing beside him gradually became steady. I clutched the phone tightly, held my breath, and slowly sat up from the bed, trying not to make any sound. I was afraid that my shoes would make noise, so I simply stepped on the floor barefoot and moved out of the room at a snail's pace. Just as I put my hand on the door handle, Ethan suddenly asked, "Where are you going?" I shuddered, swallowed, turned around and said, I have a stomachache, I'm going to the bathroom." Ethan was still lying on the bed with his back to me, only his head turned to look at me. That movement was inexplicably weird. The corners of his mouth suddenly curled up as if he was smiling. "Go quickly." I pretended to be calm and opened the door and walked out. When I touched my arm, I got goosebumps. I found a pair of shoes and tried to run away with my phone, but the door wouldn't open. I was sweating profusely and went to open the balcony window. We lived on the second floor, so it wouldn't matter if I jumped down. But all the windows were as if welded shut, not moving at all. Mia suddenly said, "Take a picture of the layout of your house." I had no choice but to raise my phone with trembling hands and show it to her. "Oh no, it looks like tonight is the day of soul stealing and rebirth. Your house has been blocked and you can't get out." I was so disheartened that I almost cried. What should I do then? Hide first. I'll find where the blind spot is. Remember, stay away from water. I was about to pull the bathroom door when I paused. I looked around in panic, opened the study door and hid inside. I didn't dare turn on the light, so I could only hide in the bookcase with my phone. Netizens were discussing. "It seems more and more fake the more I watch it. You guys are acting just to attract attention. What about the bottle girl taking souls? Only a fool would believe it. But there really is no wound on her boyfriend's back, which is very strange. He has a tattoo on his back, so the wound wouldn't be noticeable. Also, the room was only lit by the bedside lamp, so it was so dark. What if I saw it wrong? They said it's not impossible. I've been with Ethan for 4 years, and other than his obsession with bathing, there's nothing unusual about him. I really saw it wrong. Isn't it a disease to hide here now?" I was just wondering whether to go out and check when I heard Ethan's voice in the corridor. Baby, where have you been?" There was some anxiety in his voice. Soon the phone rang. I hesitated whether to answer it or not. Mia said calmly, "Answer it if you want to die." My hands trembled and I didn't move. Ethan walking around outside the room. He must have gone to the living room and kitchen to take a look. His footsteps were hurried. But his voice was getting lower and lower. "Baby, are you playing hide and seek with me?" I clutched the phone tightly. Mia said in the earphones, "When he couldn't find you, his first reaction was that you hid instead of going out. Isn't it strange?" I didn't respond. She paused. "If you still don't believe it, open your eyes and see clearly later." What's the meaning? Before I could type my question, the door of the study opened with a click. I looked out through the gap in the bookcase and saw a pair of bare feet slowly walking into the room. I don't know why, but every step he took left a watermark. "Baby, where are you hiding?" He spoke faintly like a death warrant into my ears. The room was dark, but the curtains were open. Moonlight shone through the glass. Ethan approached step by step, his shadow reflected on the wall. My eyes widened suddenly and I saw wisps of hair starting to grow on his back, growing wildly from the mouth of the tattoo bottle, and then a head emerged, followed by arms, torso, legs. I covered my mouth tightly and dared not move. Ethan's shadow on the wall, there was a woman with long hair on her back. She was kissing Ethan's cheek gently and a hoarse and sharp voice came out. "Where did she go?" Ethan said. "She must be at home. Don't worry. She can't get out. Find her, darling, find her. Baby, where are you?" He started calling me again in a gentle voice. He walked around the study with heavy steps and slowly approached the bookcase. I was so scared that I closed my eyes tightly. I could only hear the footsteps getting closer and closer. He stayed in front of the bookcase for a few seconds, and these few seconds seemed as long as hours to me. Finally, he turned and walked out, his steps still heavy, leaving footprints in water with every step. It wasn't until I heard the door close that I opened my eyes with lingering fear and couldn't stop breathing heavily. The barrage exploded. Fuck. I saw it, he was carrying a female ghost. What on earth is this? God of wealth bless me, sister, take care, I'm going to turn off my phone, I'm so scared. I don't even dare to breathe. This is too scary. Amit Ba, please bless me, I have never done anything wrong. Mia says. He will find you soon, you have to hide somewhere else. But there is only a small space in our house. Where can I hide? Netizens gave suggestions. Go under the bed in the bedroom. The most dangerous place is the safest place. Bullshit. In horror movies, if you hide under the bed you will definitely die. Don't you have a basement at home? Are you sick? There is a basement on the second floor. Listen to me and pretend to be dead. Then he was besieged by everyone. I was extremely anxious. Master, please save me. I can give you money, any amount is fine. It doesn't matter whether it's money or not. You're not as rich as I am. On the screen, Mia stood up, walked a few irregular steps around the table, took out a handful of red beans from her pocket and scattered them. Then he frowned and said, "There's something wrong with the layout of your house. Your house should have a secret room, that's where the obstruction is. I'm going to take a taxi to your house now. You hurry out and find the secret room. There's no time." I can feel the Aquarius girl's soul is getting stronger and stronger. When the Yin energy reaches its peak, you will be beyond help. Ethan's footsteps outside. I carefully pushed open the bookcase door and slowly climbed out. Suddenly, a drop of water fell on the back of my neck. "I found you." I froze, looking up at the ceiling with a stiff neck, and saw Ethan lying on top of the cabinet grinning at me. "You're so naughty." "Ah." I screamed like crazy and climbed up using my hands and feet to crawl out. Ethan jumped down from the top of the cabinet, his hair flying behind him. I widened my eyes in fear and ran out madly without looking back. He rushed into the next bedroom and quickly locked the door, blocking the dressing table, bedside table, and everything that could be moved behind the door. Soon there was a banging sound outside the door. A woman screamed, "Open the door, please open the door." I was so scared that I took a few steps back and fell to the ground. The door was slammed violently and the dressing table was shaking violently. I came to my senses and quickly worked on it, using my back to hold the door. Mia said anxiously in the earphones, "Quick, find the secret room. It's in this room." Hearing this, I quickly started looking in the bedroom. Ethan was responsible for the original decoration of the house. I thought the bedroom was a little small at the time, but he said it was just right. It turns out there is a secret room here. But I searched the room thoroughly, even feeling the floor, but I couldn't find the entrance to the secret room. My ankle suddenly felt cold. I looked down and saw that my ankles were covered with black hair. Ah! When I was moving the table just now, I accidentally hit the vase and water flowed all over the floor. At this moment, hair began to grow wherever there was water on the floor. Mia said quickly, "Blot up the water with a cloth." I immediately threw all the clothes in my closet onto the floor. My hair stopped growing and started breaking. Aquarius women cannot live without water, so be careful not to spill the water again. I was so scared that my chest kept heaving. I quickly poured the remaining water in the vase onto the green plants. "Have you found the switch to the secret room?" "Not yet." I came to my senses and hurriedly began to search the closet. Accidentally knocked over Ethan's storage box. I casually pushed it aside, and when I glanced at it, I was stunned. There were many old things in the box, and one of the photos made me feel numb all over. It was a photo of a man and a woman. The man is my boyfriend of 4 years. The woman was the anchor who was talking to me. "Mia? What's wrong? Did you find it? Are you okay?" Her voice came into the headphones. "Gives me the creeps." I picked up the phone with shaking hands. On the screen, Mia frowned slightly, exactly like in the photo. The camera quickly scanned the photo. The comments instantly went silent. I swallowed and asked, "Who are you? Do you know Ethan?" Netizens were shocked. "What the hell? What the hell? What's going on? The anchor knows her boyfriend? What's going on?" Things are getting more and more terrifying. "I know. The anchor is the mastermind behind this. This is the latest scam, right? Your family's money must be hidden in a secret room. The anchor found the location of your secret room through live broadcast, and with a few more words he can trick you into telling him your specific address. What's going on with the man carrying a woman on his back outside the door? Is this a trick?" Mia remained silent. Just as she was about to speak, the knocking on the door suddenly stopped, followed by footsteps approaching from afar. Ethan's anxious voice came in. Baby, are you okay? I just saw you go to the bathroom for so long and didn't come back. I thought you went out, so I went out to look for you. I saw the surveillance camera at home and found you at home. Why is the floor wet? Why didn't you open the door? Are you okay? Baby, open the door. I'm Ethan. Did anyone else come into the house just now? I looked sharply toward the door. Ethan just went out? Could it be that the person in the study was not Ethan? No, 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 that was indeed Ethan's face. My mind was in a mess and I couldn't think at all. Ethan was calling my name outside, telling me every little thing about his time with me. I almost subconsciously walked towards the door, and just as I was about to move the dressing table, Mia stopped me urgently. He is tempting you. Don't believe it. I stopped abruptly. I do know him, but there's no time to talk now. If you can't find the secret room, you'll die. I came to my senses and quickly weighed the pros and cons. I didn't know if the person outside was a human or a ghost. Although I don't know what the secret room is, it's a way out after all. It's better to die later. I took 2 steps back and added 2 chairs to the dressing table. When I was looking for the secret room, I suddenly remembered a scene. Not long after moving into this new home, I woke up one night because I was thirsty. In a daze, I saw Ethan standing in front of the dressing table, with his face pressed against the wall with a nostalgic look. I thought I was dreaming at the time. Now that I think about it, the entrance to the secret room should be near the dressing table. Bang! There was a loud noise outside the door. A sharp female voice mixed with Ethan's roar. Open the door. Open the door for me. Open the door quickly. I looked at the time and saw that it was 10 minutes to 1. The door was banging and the dressing table was shaking violently. Too late. I staggered towards where the dressing table was originally placed, groping the wall with my hands. Opening the door to see a river is not a good place. Triangular walls should not be inverted. All the decoration and layout of your home are taboos. The entrance to the secret room must be the most dangerous place. Touch the uneven place at the head of the bed. After hearing what Mia said, I quickly crawled under the bed. Feel the wall at the head of the bed from bottom to top. Suddenly I felt a dent. I was startled and quickly reached over. At this moment, netizens in the live broadcast room began to swipe their screens frantically. Look behind you. Look behind you. Sister, turn back quickly. What is that? It's looking for you. Be careful. I froze for a moment and turned around in a cold sweat. Through the bed, I saw a few strands of hair coming in from the gap under the door. They were dense and increasing. An eyeball rolled from the hair to the bottom of the bed and looked at me. Ah! I screamed, finally touched the switch and pressed it hard. A box-sized entrance appeared on the wall above the bed. I used my hands and feet to quickly crawl in, watching my hair pull the door open, and Ethan walked in barefoot. As soon as I crawled into the secret room, I suddenly found that my phone had fallen beside the bed. Without my phone, I really had no hope. I reached out to grab it without hesitation. A pair of hands suddenly grabbed my wrist, and Ethan leaned over to look under the bed, with the same weird expression as the female ghost on his back. I found you? Ah. I pulled my hand back suddenly but couldn't get it out. In desperation, I poked his eyes with my other hand. I heard a mixed scream from both men and women, and I quickly retreated into the secret room, grabbing my phone. In an instant, the secret room closed. Mia said, I'm in your neighborhood. I just destroyed a formation. The switch of the secret room is no longer working. He can't get in for now, but we can't stop him for long. You need to help me find something. I sat in the dark, panting. What are you looking for? The bottle behind Ethan, that's an urn. I was stunned when I heard that. My scalp felt numb. First tell me, who are you? After a few seconds of silence, the other party said, I am Ethan's junior sister. 5 years ago, Ethan's first love drowned and died. He went crazy and began to look for various secret methods to revive her. I told him the method of the bottle girl taking souls as a story before, but I didn't expect that he was so obsessed and actually did it. The only way to save you now is to find the urn of his first love and destroy the ashes, and the Aquarius woman will perish completely. The whole thing seemed like a dream. I sat there in disbelief, until the crash happened again. I came to my senses and quickly turned on the light of my phone to explore the secret room. The layout here is exactly the same as the bedroom, except that there is no light installed. There is a dressing table, a wardrobe, and even girls' pajamas. Is Ethan treating this place as his wedding room with his first love? Every night after I fall asleep, he comes here and sleeps with the bottle behind him. Thinking of this scene, I can't help but feel creepy. There was a photo album on the bedside. It was of Ethan and another girl. I just looked at one and was stunned. All the photos that Ethan took were exactly the same as mine. Same location, same pose, even the same angle. It turned out that from the beginning, Ethan had regarded me as a vessel for the resurrection of his first love. But this room had a clear view. I searched the closet and drawers but couldn't find the urn that Mia mentioned. Suddenly, my peripheral vision swept across the bed. I saw a doll on the quilt and a bulge on the other side. I swallowed, walked slowly closer and reached out to lift the quilt. A bottle with a narrow mouth and a patterned body was lying on the bed. Yes, he loves her so much. You must hold me while sleeping at night. When I thought of him sleeping with the urn in his arms at night and then coming back to bed and hugging me in the morning, I couldn't help but feel nauseous and got goosebumps. With a loud bang, I quickly picked up the urn and moved toward the window. Ethan came over to the door with a smile, carrying a skeleton without flesh and blood on his back. But he walked straight as if he had no feeling and walked towards me step by step. Baby, what are you holding in your hand? Give it to me. My face turned pale and I opened the window with trembling hands. Mia was right, this was a dead end and only this one window could be opened. But I was facing a big problem. If I smash the urn now and the bottle girl disappears, what if Ethan has a mental breakdown and dies with me? But if I don't smash it, how can I climb out holding the urn? Give me the urn. Mia opened her arms to me downstairs. Without thinking, I threw the urn to her through the window. No. Ethan's eyes were bloodshot. He pushed me away and jumped down after the urn. He was as light as a swallow and didn't get hurt at all after jumping from such a high place. Seeing Mia running out with the urn in her arms, I knew I would be waiting to die if I stayed in this house any longer. I climbed out of the window and jumped onto the narrow platform outside the wall. There was no other place to stand. I looked down, made up my mind, and jumped down suddenly. The moment I landed on the lawn, I could hear the sound of bones snapping. My leg was broken. I endured the severe pain and crawled out of the community. After climbing a short distance, Mia was cornered by Ethan. Give her to me, give her to me. Mia held the urn with a frown on her face. You are too obsessed. Ethan said to Mia like a madman. Grace is almost alive. Do you know how I have been living these past 5 years? As long as tonight passes, she will be back to me again. Haven't you always wanted me to return to normal? Junior sister, help me. I will still be your good senior brother in the future. Do you remember when you first entered the sect, I was the one who took you out to play? Mia was a little loose. She hesitated for a moment and asked, as long as she comes back, you will stop using forbidden techniques? Ethan's eyes lit up. Yes, as long as she comes back. Oh well. Mia placed the urn under a laurel tree and said, she's here and the time is almost up, so you can do it yourself. She and Ethan turned to look at me. I'm shaking all over. Are they a team? I climbed out in pain, screaming heartbreakingly, help, help. Mia came over quickly and held me down. Ethan laughed. Good junior sister. I started to struggle desperately and Mia whispered, don't move. Wait. I was stunned for a moment. Ethan walked under the osmanthus tree, and suddenly a strong wind blew, and the talisman stuck on the osmanthus tree began to burn rapidly. Ethan roared in pain. Mia angrily. You're trapping me with the yin-yang formation? Ha, ha, ha. Even if I die, I will revive her. You can't stop me anymore. After saying that, the hair on his back began to grow wildly. The skeleton crawled out from behind him, bones rattling. The pair of unsupported eyes stared at me and crawled towards me on all fours like a dog. Ethan's back was already covered in blood. At this moment, Mia slowly opened her palm, revealing a handful of ashes. Ethan's eyes suddenly widened. Mia says, without a body left, how can she be resurrected? She said and scattered the ashes. A gust of wind blew by and the ashes flew everywhere. Ethan screamed in pain, no, don't. Just as the monster's hand was about to grab me, she disappeared without a trace like a gust of wind. Ethan was trapped in the formation and screamed in pain. Soon, the sound became smaller and smaller, and his eyes stared at me with resentment and unwillingness, and he lost his breath. I looked at Mia in shock. She said calmly, I'm sorry to have frightened you. Ethan's obsession is too deep. He is no longer a human but a demon. So I can only lure him into the formation and eliminate them both together. Ethan's body was too horrific, so Mia took him away and said she would clean up the mess. I was sitting on the side of the road waiting for an ambulance when a woman's shadow suddenly appeared across the road. I just took one look at her and I felt the blood rushing backwards through my body. The woman in the photo in the secret room is Ethan's first love. Didn't her soul just dissipate? Why is there more? Mia also saw the woman. She went and came back, said something to the woman, and the woman disappeared. Meeting my horrified gaze, Mia hesitated and explained. She is Ethan's true first love, Grace? I was confused. What's the meaning? When Grace drowned, Ethan wanted to revive her like crazy. Even though I told him that the bottle girl was a sorcery and had never succeeded, he still insisted on doing it. In fact, the soul he had been raising was just an evil ghost. The yin and yang of heaven and earth are balanced, and the dead cannot be resurrected. Grace didn't want to see him like this, and she was worried and never left. She asked me to free him, but because he hid his tracks, I couldn't find him after searching for a long time. It wasn't until I connected with you that I was able to determine Ethan's location. She just asked me to tell you that she's sorry. After saying that, Mia scratched her hair and wondered. It's strange. The urn is gone. Why is Grace's soul only dispersing now? I was stunned for a moment, then took out a handful of ashes from my pajamas pocket. Maybe because of this. Mia. I grabbed a handful of it with me just in case. Mia twitched the corners of her mouth and silently gave a thumbs up. 1 month later. It seems like everything is back to normal. My colleagues all knew that I had broken up and Ethan's whereabouts were unknown, but they never mentioned Ethan in front of me. I started to live my own life. Watching live broadcasts in my spare time, Mia's live broadcast room has become very popular after the Aquarius Girl incident. But she still has that world-weary face, being an incompetent emotional blogger, and scolding the scumbag in the live broadcast room. I couldn't help but ask, what's the best way to get out of a relationship? Mia raised her eyelids lazily. Pack up and go travel? The next day I really took a day off and planned to buy a ticket at the train station and go anywhere. There was a traffic jam on the way to the train station, and I leaned against the window and looked outside boredly. I saw a group of people gathered by the artificial lake. From the sound of their conversation, it seemed that a child fell into the water and someone rescued him. I looked over and saw that the man who saved the people was tall and handsome. The child's parents thanked him frantically, but he just waved his hand, walked to the shore and took off his wet clothes. The bus started moving at this time. I looked away but froze the moment he turned around. There was a bottle tattooed on the man's back.